you very much.
Thank you very much. Senator Chambliss.
Thanks very much, Madam Chair. Mr. Chairman, at the conclusion of Dodd-Frank, Chairman Frank, as well as others, noted that a technical corrections bill was going to be a necessity. Have you and the other regulators, along with the Treasury, gotten together and made a list of what technical corrections you think need to be made?
I can't speak for other regulators. I'm not aware of any broad list. I think Title VII, we've been able to sort through with your help and with help from the other side of the Congress as well, issue by issue, rule by rule. So I actually think Title VII holds together pretty well.
Well, is that the only area of technical corrections you think are going to be necessary?
I actually think that Title VII holds together pretty well, so I'm not recommending any particular changes. I do know that whether it's addressing specific issues to ensure that end users don't pay margin, for instance, or aren't required to pay margin, and other things that have been considered in each of the chambers are things that will be taken up potentially as you consider moving forward. But again, I think that Title VII, technically speaking, has held together pretty well, and then we've been able to navigate through Title VII with your help and direction.
So has there not been any discussion between CFTC and other regulators about corrections? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, Senator, I'm just not aware at the, there's certainly been, as we've gone rule by rule, public comment on, I could use as an example one area on swap data repositories. There's a provision in the statute that there's a need for an indemnification. I don't know if you remember this issue, and international regulators raised it and were concerned with it. It's not so much a technical correction, it's just whether that's good public policy to require that indemnification.
Yeah. During the course of the drafting of Dodd-Frank, you and I had numerous discussions about what I feared to be a result of Dodd-Frank, particularly as it applied to the international opportunities for trading of swaps and derivatives, and the fact that the international markets weren't at that point anywhere near as strict with their requirements as what Dodd-Frank was putting in place. Since then, you and I have discussed it again. I've also discussed it with any number of bankers, particularly across Europe, and what I feared is what I'm hearing from the European side. Now, I'm getting a little bit different from you, so I want to give you a chance to let's talk about that. But basically, I was met with some German bankers within the last month, and was told that, look, we've done about all we're going to do, which is not much, because our system is working pretty well, and it's pretty obvious to me that they're getting a lot of U.S. business on the London exchange. They're getting a lot of U.S. business on the Asian exchange. And if that's going to continue, then obviously it makes our markets have less of an impact on the worldwide trading scheme. So tell me where you think we are with regard to the Europeans and others getting on board with our increased regulation of swaps and derivatives.
Europe passed a law last year, and their rules were approved in a parliamentary process just last month for central clearing, for reporting of the data to data repositories, and for the risk mitigation piece, which is the margin and capital and so forth that we have for swap dealers. And they're actually largely consistent. Of course, when you get to the fine detail, there are some differences, and just as we had the discussion with your colleagues down to your right, Europe actually might have a stricter standard, a higher standard on margin for futures. Where Europe is still working is on public market transparency. They have before their parliament for consideration. They think that they'll finish it up this summer, but the proof will be in the pudding. a law called MIFID, M-I-F-I-D, that will have requirements for something similar to swap execution facilities. They call them OTFs, and also for the public reporting of the transparent afterwards. There is a timing difference. Their clearing requirements will go into place probably 6 or 9 months after ours, but they'll be very similar. The trading requirement or the public market requirement, it depends how their law is passed, if it's passed this summer.
Okay.